I can't be vegan while traveling, it's too hard, I'm going to get too ill, and I'm not going to find vegan food anywhere. It just can't be done. Hello everybody, this is a video dedicated to those who travel abroad and say, I can't be vegan while traveling, it's too hard, I'm going to get too ill, and I'm not going to find vegan food anywhere. It just can't be done. Enjoy. I'm just recently back from visiting Colombia. It was an absolutely great country to visit. Do check it out and put it on your wish list if you haven't been already. It's full of really beautiful natural sceneries and the food there is equally fantastic. But that got me thinking, it's quite easy for people to be vegan at home when there's a supermarket at the end of every street, but how easy is it to be vegan when you're traveling abroad in a foreign country? Maybe they speak a different language, maybe you don't know the country that well, maybe you don't know how to get food and be healthy and happy whilst you're making the most out of your holiday. Well, I thought it would be a great idea to make a video to explain to you guys 7 tips for how to travel being vegan or just be healthier during your travels. So tip 1, and this is probably the biggest cheat you can ever do, it's to take food with you. So typically if you're traveling abroad, if you're traveling to far out places that you're not used to, you'll have hold luggage, the big bag that you take with you on a plane. Go ahead, grab some food, put it into the hold luggage, and that way when you get to your destination, if you really are struggling for food, you'll know that you have some food with you that you can either cook or eat straight out of the packet. Do be careful though, because some airplanes, some airlines do have rules where you can only take certain foods with you, so make sure that you do check in advance what food is allowed to be taken to your destination. Tip 2 is to search for restaurants in the destination that you're going to before you travel. Preparation is absolutely key when traveling and eating healthily abroad, and one of the best ways that you can do that is to use popular applications and websites such as Happy Cow, check the links in the description, and also TripAdvisor. In TripAdvisor you can search for vegetarian and vegan friendly restaurants. In Happy Cow they specialise in finding vegan and vegetarian restaurants and also health food stores. This is really helpful to make sure that you can feel comfortable when you're traveling, pig out, but still be absolutely healthy. Tip 3 is up next, and this is especially useful for if you're visiting countries that speak a different language to the one that you're used to speaking at home. So it's very useful when going to these countries to prepare and memorize a few short phrases that explains who you are, what you do and what you believe in. So for example, learning the phrase I'm vegan is very useful because hotels, restaurants and bars will be more likely to understand and cater for your requirements. Also what's very useful is to have a written piece of paper in your pocket that you can take around with you that in the language of the destination will explain to them your choices and what you do have and what you don't have. Lastly, Google Translate is a free app that's very useful to have on the move whilst you're in the country. You can just type in the translation that you require and it'll spit it out for you on the other side, and you can just show that to the person that you're speaking with to have improved conversation between the two of you. Tip 4 is to take food with you. Now I know what you're thinking, this is the same as tip 1 but it's different. Tip 1 is about having food in your luggage when you're travelling over to the country. Tip 4 is to have food with you on person. So this might be some nuts, it might be a health or a fruit bar, you know, like a bar that you just keep with you whilst you're out and moving. This is designed for if you're very hungry and you're walking around and there's not restaurants around you that you can grab a cruelty-free meal. So it's very useful just to dip into your pocket, grab a health bar and eat away, and that way it'll keep you going to get back to your accommodation or to your next venue that can prepare a cruelty-free meal for you. Tip 5 is to learn the local ingredients that are vegan. For example, I was in Colombia. In Colombia they have loads of avocados, they have arepa, that's very common, and they also have many fruits and vegetables, and it doesn't take too long to just have a look at the country, see what is common, what is sold in supermarkets, what's cheap, and that way these can be your go-to foods if you're ever in a hurry or you need something cheap and easy to get hold of. Tip 6 is up next, and this is a really important one for me. This is to find accommodation that caters for vegans, has cruelty-free options available for guests that stay there. This is useful because when you're out and about, walking around a foreign country that you're not familiar with, it can be quite tricky to find food sometimes. It's quite nice to know that you've no stress. You can go back to the home, the place where you're staying, and you can have a decent meal and fill yourself up. Often accommodation that you're staying at will have breakfast or dinner, so it's always good to start or end the day with a good meal, and that way whatever happens in between, you know you can always go back and fill up on good healthy food. So last up is tip 7, and this is very useful not only when traveling but also when you're at home. It's to ask. So when you're at bars, restaurants and hotels, don't feel too ashamed or too embarrassed or too much of an inconvenience to ask for vegan options. It's very reasonable to ask a business for a cruelty-free option, and it might often get the business thinking about the products that they're selling to consumers. Also, you will be doing the business a favour, because by you requesting vegan products, it lets them know the level of demand that there is for their business, and that way they can adapt for the customers which they want to serve. So don't be too ashamed to ask. This is quite common for people who are newly vegan to feel like they're being an inconvenience. It's entirely normal and rational to ask for cruelty-free options. If you do have a meal, for example, and there's one non-vegan ingredient, feel free just to say, can you hold that? I don't need that. For example, when I order curries, often I say, can you make it without butter? And that's fine, they just put oil in. So it's quite straightforward just to ask. So there you have it, 7 tips for traveling abroad and still being vegan. If I've left any tips off that you think would be very useful for other people to know, please comment. Please like this video to let me know that I'm doing good work, or subscribe to my channel to see more videos. Thank you very much.